Welcome to Stretton Unfiltered, the podcast where fashion, purpose, and unapologetic conversation meet. Hosted by Annah and Sami Stretton, this series takes you behind the scenes of a legacy brand and a powerful social impact journey, sharing the stories, lessons, and voices that inspire change. So we're back for episode 2. We're hoping that we've got a few listeners in that, people are still along for the ride.
I'm hoping that Mum and my sister will listen, so
I'll make Jono listen.
Yeah, or I'll make Tony listen.
So we've got 4 followers, and hopefully some of the homes will listen too. So then we've got a few more. So we are.
Oh, I've got friends too. I'll get it to them as well.
Okay, good. So we've got a few more.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about Fashion Week.
Yeah, we are.
And what not to do.
Yeah.
But we'll do a quick recap. So we did 13 Fashion Week.
Yeah, we did 13 shows. They must have started it. Oh, look, the boards are in front of us here. So we could actually. In 2002. So they did start. There's Warbright. In 2000.
Yes, I was there.
Yeah, so we did start in 2002. Effectively, we were helping on doing Fashion Week. We evolved the brand with a very well executed sort of brand strategy into the Annah Stretton brand that is today, and really started to think about more design. Componentry to those collections.
Rather than getting out of that mainstream bucket and going into more of a design.
We still had the mainstream bucket under
very much,
It was kind of keeping us alive.
Yeah.
But then we took to the catwalk with the sort of the fanciful, styling that we have now, and engaged all sorts of different stylists to help us with that. But the impact of that from a financial point of view was just cost.
Just cost. Didn't make any money.
No one really saw us that seriously.
I feel like at that time it was so exciting growing up. Obviously Fashion Week was every August, September. And it was like a big moment because obviously the Waikato times were still around then. Yeah. And it was like, are we going to post? Are we? Well, they weren't daily. But, growing up in the household, it was like, are we going to be on the front page of the Waikato Times after the show? Because that was like the key goal. And then like Herald was like the premium. Like we've just hit the jackpot, and we got the Herald once in a way. So we'll talk about that. Yeah. But we're always the Waikato Times. It's like if the Waikato Times wasn't featuring us, like we were like, what's up?
Yeah.
But
we totally. But they were support.
Why don't we read?
They still exist.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Sorry, NZME. Okay. Yeah. Why don't we talk about let's call them the Fashion Week faux pas or what not to do?
Well, I think it's a mix, like the Fashion Week moments we should call them.
Why don't we talk about Warbright and the makeup, the first start?
Oh, yeah. I think...
I'm rising from the ashes.
Yeah, well, I think that, the critics were so cruel. So
we need to give up more at the time of the trauma.
No, I just think that, I tried to work to themes. We were so proud of what we were doing. That was a group show. I was so hurt after it. You had to be so resilient because you honestly knew that I was just going to take a slaughtering, basically, afterwards.
There were, certain... journalists that used to recover it, they were like absolute dickheads. They used to be so ruthless.
They were just awful. It would actually be classified as hate speech.
Not bully people anymore.
Bullying, but it was really hard work, But I kind of, by the time I got to the 3rd or 4th one, I knew that they were going to actually do this because they only saw it as a generic label. And so I guess when I put Feral Beauty, when I did that show, and I actually put the boar's head on
from the WOW entry.
Yeah, well, that was a WOW entry that did really well. It made the finals, and that's pretty hard to do in WOW. I mean, it's easy to. It's not easy. It's not easy to even get into the show, but it's to actually be one of the finalists in WOW, and it was called Beauty and the Beast. But because it had done so well in WOW, I decided the following year to give it a run, and it became the focus of the collection, I guess. And I decided to give it a run in Feral Beauty, which was the namesake of the collection. And by then we kind of got used to, the thrashing we were taking as part of the commentary that existed around us. And we didn't really care as much. And so we just were starting to have a lot of fun. And that show was a hell.
We had the Fafafinis as well that time.
That was the next year. That wasn't in the Feral Beauty. Feral Beauty was all the birds and the pig. The Fafafinis was different again. So that was 2005, I think. Because that's one that Ebook was on the...
Didn't the Boar's head come out with them?
No. We're going to have a fact check. Beauty. It was Feral Beauty.
Did you get much?
The Crown was the... do you think that's the wrong image on the board? Jewel in the Crown was...
no, that's Island Vibes, yeah.
Yeah, that was the Fafafinis.
So talk to us
The pig's head?
Backlash on pig's head, but Backlash on those dead birds that's adorning her bust right there.
Yeah, it was dead bird. Yeah, but it was just
taxidermy.
I mean, like, I guess we were driving out for Fashion Week and Tony said to me, what is the goal? And I said, you know what? I'd really like to make the front page of all the significant papers about the country. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
We did it with the Boar's Head. And, and I still think today a lot of people know the story of the Boar's Head. And so much so that then WOW asked for it back to their museum. They asked if they actually...
I think the heading was, how's that for fashion?
Yeah, how's that for fashion? I remember...
I've actually got it on the wall somewhere.
Annah Stretton's pig.
I know. Unpack.
Yeah, Annah from unpack. And her following from unpack.
Following. They were so rude.
They were really rude. They were rude about the woman. You'd never get away with that.
No.
They were just so mean. They were real mean girls. But we I guess by the time we got to Feel Beauty and Jewel in the Crown, we didn't care anymore. We didn't care. And you even took the catwalk and was it driving Miss Daisy? What was that?
I actually did it a couple of times.
Yeah. But you did Jewel in the Crown.
I was in Jewel in the Crown. I don't think it was my highlight. No, I watched that video. It was terrible.
No, it's so terrible.
I know. I grew up
in
obviously I grew up in the 2000s and everything. It was me back then too. There was no body positivity and it wasn't okay to be a 12 or 14.
No, it wasn't.
And I think I was like highly drugged on prednisone at that time and I was a bit curvy compared to the size 6s, so I don't look back highly on that.
Oh my gosh, because that's when you got
Crohn's disease. Yeah. But the highlight for me was when I walked in, sorry, it's turning around.
Yeah.
2006, which was my final year.
Beautiful then. There's that awesome.
And we were wearing the red wigs. And you actually I'm not going to say let me because you did choose me to do it. Probably because you didn't have to pay for it. It would just be slapped everywhere. But I got to the final walk with you, remember? And we got the final photo. I think that made the front of the Waikato Times too.
Yeah.
And I had my nipple exposed. It was so risque for then because I was still in school. And it was like...
I didn't even realise you had your nipple.
No.
I wouldn't have liked that.
No.
Now I would have done that little photo shoot.
But I was wearing that awesome sequin dress, which... Oh my God, I'd probably fit one thigh now.
Oh, no. But it was you look so beautiful. I was so proud, that was my highlight. That was on the catwalk at one of your fashion shows, what would that look like? So I just think for me, having you as part of that, and in the Crown, the first one you did, Edward actually came out to the catwalk.
He did, yeah.
And there's that awesome shot with him coming out to me.
Yes, we do have that with your Bush.
Did he have flowers or something like that?
I think he might have had a lei. Maybe he put the lei on.
Yeah, no, he put the lei. But it was just, but I guess the messages there, we started to stop caring about.
Yeah,
we knew they were just going to thrash the hell out of us. And we knew they were going to be mean. We knew that, and the pig's head had kind of given us this wonderful kind of provenance around. And it was really interesting listening to the stories of the boar head, where they said that we'd jammed it on the model's head, screaming and crying. There was blood in the head. And, the model had actually, then specifically, we requested someone who really wanted. I know. There was a bike helmet. Yeah, it was just insane. But it's just how wrong the media can be. But I guess we just kept having a hell of a lot of fun, and we got more and more focused, more and more polished as we went. We learned a hell of a lot, and finally kind of finished. And it must have been about 2013 when we.
Was Alice the last show?
15. No, Alice was 13. 2015.
So Mirror.
Yeah, Mirror. Was our last show. Remember, it ran about an hour and a half late. People were really, because we tried to put up those huge mirror balls, but there's so much that happened along the way. Look at the whole animal activists.
What happened with PETA again? Weren't they outside naked?
There was the possum furs, the ethically kind of farmed. They were not
pest to New Zealand.
Ethically killed, not farmed. A real pest that we're trying to eradicate by 2025. Yeah. Which they just lambasted me. And, it was effectively about trying to make an example of someone that was using fur at any level. I mean, and so it's so sort of frustrating for our retail stores when young people would turn up naked outside the stores. Remember Christchurch?
Yeah.
All those young sort of 13-year-olds that were naked, throwing blood against the window. And, but I guess it becomes more, we were such the wrong person to take.
I know, we're not the right people. We had some possum furs. Okay.
Well, they were humanely killed. That was really important to us, and that they weren't using gin traps. So it was a humane method of kill, but it was waste product that we were actually using within the shows. But we certainly became a target through there. Not the boar's head, but certainly
I know. I actually remember coming home 8 years ago or something, and I think I got across my desk some chocolates from PETA saying thank you for noticing it.
Awesome.
Like, this is outrageous. They've got time to send some chockies out, but
I
thank you.
know.
Devonport chocolates, they were delicious.
But Fashion Week continued. We worked with some awesome people, and we did some awesome shows. And all the ladies from unpack were still continually invited. You know, it didn't really matter in the end. You know, what mattered was these awesome memories, this awesome video content we've got, and some great imagery.
And I think at the time, it's obviously like even though like they always say this, no publicity is bad publicity. Like, at least people are talking about the brand in a household way. So if we weren't going to get acknowledged in their eyes as like the next Karen Walker, or, you know, a next new top leading New Zealand designer, at least we were being talked about another way, where they might want to pop in Annah Stretton and check out the PETA and
there was a lot of people that quite hurt for me.
Oh, totally. They
come up to me and say,
love that.
Yeah, they loved the brand. So every time they took these kind of negative stands, they were kind of taking it against a community of women that loved the brand. And that was the thing that I found hardest for people. You know, they couldn't understand how I could just absorb it all. But after a while, you've had so much leveled at you, you don't have any other expectation other than they're going to actually trash the show. They will trash the show no matter what I do. It doesn't matter how hard I work or what I do. And one of the shows is the gay wedding. Remember the gay wedding?
That was the gay wedding.
Oh,
that was so good though. Like, we did that. Remember, weren't they upset about? Didn't we have the ceremony?
It was
offsite. Yeah,
we did the show. I think the show was part of the public day. We did.
Yeah.
We took two shows out.
Yeah.
But we did the gay wedding, and then we went to a reception.
We went to a hotel afterwards, and my friend Bradshaw ate some peanut toast and went to an anaphylactic shock at the wedding, and we had to leave really quickly.
It was just, it was actually the brides.
Were they really grumpy? Didn't they?
Oh, they were real.
They weren't happy about the free wedding.
Happy.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was actually not a great moment, but and also we were endorsing something that was about endeavouring to get Australia
very much
marriage.
So they couldn't do it.
At the time we were working with a brand strategist that was Australian and it was gay. So of course he was particularly aligned to this cause. So I kind of got caught up on all of that when potentially I probably wouldn't have done that. So it was just very much about creating some more connection to the brand.
As well.
But effectively probably not a cause that I would have driven individually without someone else sort of leading the charge there, because he was so passionate about it.
Did you have any like makeup faux pas? Like, was there anything that you wouldn't have done again?
Oh, well, I don't know about the makeup faux pas till later.
Yeah.
I mean, because
it took ages and you're like, oh my God, that just...
Well, that huge image we had on the Wellington.
Oh, yes.
To one of those shows.
That's actually what not to do, yeah.
Yeah, that was what not. I mean, so, okay, there was 2 African girls that were in one of the shows. Yeah. And we had painted, all of the girls had a specific makeup, which was like a white outline around their
eyes.
And
everyone had it.
Yeah, and I guess just as time has evolved on, you know, what's PC and what's not. I actually found I was on Black Wikipedia.
I know, you're on.
We're
trying to get on normal Wikipedia.
Black Wikipedia kind of. But effectively what was good is I give them their dues and that they'd actually talked to the fact that I'd apologised. I never intended to offend. It was done years and years ago. And it was part of a show, you know, it was makeup that was, and at the time there was absolutely no kickback on it, absolutely no. So that happened about 10 years later. You know, when it was
at the time,
it was 10 years later. No,
it's just so crazy how things have just changed so considerably.
And I understand in a lot of ways why they have.
The Cool Kids Club has changed. They're just out there embracing everyone now. I could probably be a model. Maybe I should try again.
Well, I think that people want, like, you know, it's really hard to be super skinny now, model. I think, you know, it's so not.
If I look at that girl there who's beautiful, but she is so thin.
I know.
Like, how was she?
I know. But, you know, that was a big thing with Fashion Week too. There was, you know, any of the girls that would look really skinny like that, we weren't allowed to use. But people use them all the time, you know, because they become so easy.
It was so
look at, like, she's like a skeleton.
I know, but it's just like, that was so cool then. It was like, let's have a cigarette and a Diet Coke. And
totally. A Red Bull. It was Red Bull.
Yeah, Red Bull and a cigarette.
Red Bulls and cigarettes.
Yeah, that was it. Love off that.
That's
skinny. Party. There's such a party culture as well. God, the Fashion Week parties were outrageous.
Actually, we did always do good parties.
Yeah. And I used to come up from university and just party for a week. Go to a few shows.
Yeah, they were expensive, those shows, you know.
Yeah.
It was around 40 to 50K to
so like friends parties?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, they were cool.
Yeah.
They were the cool kids. So, like we were just, the moms. We were the moms on the catwalk. But, I mean.
No, they're expensive. They're a big branding exercise.
Especially when we went to a solo show.
Yes, which we love.
With
no
kind of
drama.
Nice tag.
Yeah.
Way loved that. We only really did 2 group shows and we moved into solo.
Yeah.
And that was just the right way to go. And, we had some awesome relationships with people like Phoenix, Renato.
Yes.
Pick up. And,
so good.
Phoenix and Kitty did that Anna and Wonderland show, which was the Alice in Wonderland takeoff. So, No, there's so many memories. I mean, so many memories from Fashion Week and so many good ones too. They weren't all chaotic.
Nah.
But, lots of, there was a lot of protesting around the fur and that went across 2 or 3 of the shows.
Totally. Yeah, I reckon my favourite show was Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. Well, that was Kitty and...
Sorry, Annah Stretton in Wonderland.
It was Annah and Wonderland.
Yeah.
Annah and Wonderland. Well, it was just all the effort that went into
it. It was amazing, that big long table up the middle, and it had...
and also Michelle Accord.
Yes.
Narrated danced, and we had the rabbit, and there was just so much that went into that show. It was huge. And I think 3 of us working on that show, whereas traditionally it was myself, then it would go to styling. So just a much bigger team with the input. And we'd been mentoring Kitty Nathan. She'd been working in our space and she was keen to kind of pay it forward.
Yeah.
Support me in that way. And Phoenix had been aligned with us for a long time. So it was just a really nice kind of collaborative thing that we did together. Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Such a creative.
But even now,
show, which is so cool and felt really on brand. We're actually sitting in the gallery and I can see the things, and they just feel like we can maybe redo some of these stuff. Yeah, like that's great.
Totally. I mean, it was on brand.
Yeah,
it was all about
very on brand
and the like the drama and the food and the flowers and we've got so many wonderful kind of celebrity type people that are really aligned to the brand. Like Michelle Accord has been such a big kind of connection to the brand. Nerida, there were so many that we're just so happy to be part of who we were. It was awesome. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay, well, that was our little Fashion Week wrap up. History, things that happened, and we will see you again next week. Awesome, we'll be talking about it. No worries. Bye. Thank you for listening to Stretton Unfiltered. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow us and share it with your friends. You'll find us on all platforms where you get your podcasts. We'd love to hear your feedback or your guest suggestions, so please reach out and join the conversation. Until next time, stay unfiltered.